The treadmill is by far one of my favorite items to salvage, and today I want to highlight 5 projects just from last year wherein I've used treadmill components. But first I got to show you how to take the thing apart. So let's go outside and get started with that. I found it to be really handy to have one of these. It's set with all the different types of screw tips. As you can see, this one has a square jaw. And that's why it's good to have a set like this, because it'll have these unusual bits that you wouldn't normally get with a typical screwdriver set. I wanted a way to be able to test motors at my workbench, especially DC motors. And then one day it dawned on me when I saw a treadmill on the side of the road. Treadmills have speed controllers. Why not take a speed controller and convert it into a DC power supply? Let me show you how it works. I happen to have a motor sitting right here. And using this dial, I can control the speed of the motor. This guy has been a great addition to the shop. This was one of the most enjoyable and probably the second most difficult project I've had as a woodworker. The only tougher one being the first clock that I made. We're gonna make this clock stop here for a moment so that I can turn it around and show you the inner workings. When I started building this project, I knew I wanted to use a synchronous AC motor, and the best one I could find for the job required 20 volts AC, which you can't get, of course, by just plugging it into the wall. So now with this inside view, you can see that I took a transformer pretty much identical to the one you saw earlier from a treadmill and used that to step down the voltage from the wall and get the appropriate 20 volts that I needed for the motor that I bought. That allowed me to run this clock safely, and it keeps good time. Going back to a side view, you can see several steel shafts here. All of those come out of a commercial printer. So those were salvaged from other machines. This clock is a completely original design, and it is entirely handmade. Every gear was cut out on my bandsaw. There are no CNC parts in this guy. If you find this project interesting, there's a whole series of videos on this guy. And if you'd like to take on the challenge of trying to build one yourself, there are plans available as well. This particular project started as an experiment. I wasn't entirely sure that I wanted to have a lathe, but after I started looking at pictures online, I decided maybe I'll build my own. The reason I'm showing this to you is because that motor comes from a treadmill that I salvaged off the side of the road. Took it apart, and you can see the results here. This project has several videos associated with it, and if you want to see the whole playlist, including how I built all the parts, you can click on the link right here, and it'll take you right to it. And speaking of power tools, this guy is also powered by a treadmill motor, except this one is a 3-phase 4 horsepower motor. I took that out of a commercial treadmill. Now, because there's so much power there, I'm able to cut steel, and this structure is made quite robust. So even though it's made out of wood, you can look at the thickness there and see it's like a tree trunk. This guy is very stiff and very strong. I've cut steel on this bandsaw, and I've made a video detailing how it was constructed. If you're looking for more details on this project, you can find a link to that video in the description. And this has got to be one of my favorite projects so far. This is a rowing machine that I purchased on Craigslist, and as you've probably guessed by now, I've made some modifications. So let me bring you in a little closer. Here we have 2 permanent magnet DC motors, which are coupled to the flywheel of my rowing machine. Now, when you spin the shaft of a permanent magnet DC motor, it basically becomes a generator. And that's essentially what you're looking at here, a human power generator. I have a whole series of videos where I explain how this works and how I made it. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, you can click on the link that'll pop up right here to see that playlist. But in the meantime, I'm going to take you inside and let the kids show you how we've been using it. You guys ready to play?
Yes!
All right, let's do this thing.
If you keep TV on.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh man, well, let's see what we can do.
You had the TV on for a while. Let's see.
Ready? All right, you gotta hurry.
Yes, son.
Who wants to take it?
Me!
Come on, hurry. You gotta go fast. Oh man.
I'm tired.
Now the purpose of this video is not to get you to say, oh, I should make a bandsaw like Jeremy. My real purpose is to get you to take a second look at those things you throw away and wonder, maybe there's something interesting in there that's worth using. Please scroll down to the comments and tell me about the things that you've made with treadmills, and I will list my favorite ideas in the description, so be sure to check that out. If you enjoyed this video, there are 2 other videos very similar to this, one about washing machines and one about vacuum cleaners. Thanks for watching. It's recording.
Oh. It's recording us?
Yes, I'm recording you.
Cool.
We're about to play the game with our generator.
Fun.